New construction homes are definitely the way to go in today's market. If you're thinking about buying a home and not sure if new construction or resale is for you, I'm gonna give you my top 8 tips of why you should buy new construction. See you on the other side. Hi, my name is Aaron Lathan, and every week I'm helping buyers relocate to and throughout the greater city of Houston. So if you want to know anything about where to eat, sleep, live, play, hit me up morning, noon, or night. Shoot me a text, hit me with a DM, hit me in my social media, whatever way you got to get in touch with me. Email, carrier pigeon, whatever you got to do to get in touch with me. If you have any questions about the greater city of Houston and the surrounding suburbs, I'm your guy. I would love to help you with your transition. Also, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm doing these kind of videos every week. Give you my perspective of someone that's not from here. Also, someone that's been living here for a little while now, knows the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful parts of the city of Houston. So if that's something that interests you, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. So today, new construction. I am so pro new construction, it's not even funny. And this is from someone that has bought a resale home before and is now currently living in what was once a new construction home. So I love new construction. In today's market, things are moving so quickly, things are so crazy. It's definitely one of the best ways to minimize stress and get into an actual home that you actually like. You know, if you're buying a resale right now, just with how crazy competitive things are, I think the national average right now is that there's like 7 offers on every home. So if you're not willing to do something crazy, the chances of you actually getting in that home are slim to none right now, right? So but let's just hop into the list. Here are my top 8 reasons why I suggest new construction for any buyer, whether you're a first-time home buyer, this is your next home, your move-up home, whatever it is. These are the 8 reasons why I suggest new construction homes. And starting off with number 1 is you're the first, right? So you're the first, but on that toilet. You're the first, but in that tub, right? And not to be graphic or anything like that, but you are the first, right? So you don't have to worry about someone doing something shoddy in that house, right? You are the absolute first person to be there. You know, there should be no issues dealing with that house, right? And anytime, you know, many times someone tries to get the character of being in an older neighborhood and doing like a renovation project or buying a house that was renovated by someone, but you don't know the qualifications of those contractors. You don't know the corners they may have skipped. If they had good money, if they were an upstanding contractor, there's so many things that you don't know when it comes to buying a renovated home, that it kind of is and can be a little bit overwhelming. I've had clients that have decided against going new construction. They bought a renovated home and, you know, they get in and their home didn't collapse on them by any means, but they get in and they realize that some of the stuff just wasn't up to code, and it's things that you wouldn't see in an inspection report. Right, it's things that were covered up or were ignored or little blind spots until there's an issue. You don't know there's an issue, right? So you're the first is probably the biggest thing. You know, you have all of the top of the line like warranties and all that things that come with you being the first person that you wouldn't get in the resale. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I sell to my clients is that you're the first person. There's nothing to worry about. There's nobody else's cooties in there. There's no other germs. There's no other gross things in there from anybody else. You're the first. The second thing is that at least all of the builders that I've personally worked with and helped my clients work with in the greater city of Houston and surrounding suburbs is that they are reputable builders, right? So when you're working with a reputable builder, someone that is either a national builder or a local experienced builder here, they're reputable. They have their websites, they have their Better Business Bureau ratings, they have their Google reviews. There are all these things that you can kind of go and research beforehand, that you can kind of go and see and know that they're a real person. And if anything were to arise, that you can reach out directly to that person. And anytime you're dealing with a resale, you don't know who that person was. You don't know many times, and especially in this market, with things just being so difficult to sometimes get labor or get materials or things of that nature. Some of these renovations happen, you know, at the hands of the actual owner themselves. And that's a whole different conversation. You know, you don't know if that owner knows how to lay tile or knows how to do countertops or knows how to structurally do things and support things. You don't know when you get a renovation or a renovated or a resale home. You just really don't know the quality that you're actually buying until it's too late, until you're in there. You know, if you're lucky, you'll get an inspection report and something shows up that maybe is a red flag or something that could be of concern that you can actually catch before you move in. But many times you don't know. So having a reputable builder that you can go and say, hey, Mr. Builder, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Custom Home, you're the person that built this home. I expect you to do right by me, is a huge sigh of relief when being in this market and actually going to get a home. The third thing, and I kind of touched on it with point one, is to have the warranties. The warranties are absolutely outstanding with new construction, brand new construction. And perfect example, this is our home. We've been in it going on 2 years now, and we're actually about to lose one of my warranties that I'm kind of sad about. Now I have to do some other things, and I'll probably touch on it a little bit later in the video. But one of the things that happened to us as we moved in was our water heater went out. But because it is a brand new construction, and because we have the top of the line warranty from the builder, where they give all of the appliance warranties and the systems warranties, we didn't have to come out of pocket at all. We didn't even have to come out of pocket a traveler fee, right? For someone to come and make an assessment and get the parts, and everything was overnighted. Everything was happened super fast. But warranties is probably the number one reason why I suggest going new construction for, especially for my first time home buyers, because there's so many things that are just probably going to break as a homeowner, and there's no avoiding it. Things are going to break, things are going to go wrong, but having that 1 year full craftsmanship warranty, which is pretty standard here in Texas, that 2 year appliance warranty or 2 year systems warranty for electrical, plumbing, HVAC, all your major systems, and then the 10 for your structural, or 10 to 15 for your structural, for any like foundation or any of those kind of issues that could arise in the city of Houston. And that's pretty standard stuff when you go for brand new construction. Now, some do a little bit better, some do a little bit worse, some do add things like roof shingles, some add things like exterior stuff. It just kind of depends on the builder, but for the most part, any reputable builder here is going to give you a 1 to 10 in the greater city of Houston and surrounding suburbs, and that's worth its weight in gold, as they would say, right? Because I've seen systems crash on people, and you get a bill of $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for something that you just weren't prepared for it to break. And if it's within those systems and those things that they are responsible for replacing within that warranty, that's a $0 bill for you, which is just something that is a deal saver for new construction. The fourth thing, and this is probably one of the least talked about things of all the benefits and reasons why you should buy new construction, is that they're so energy efficient. So when I first moved here to Houston from San Antonio, we got a brand new, it was a brand new apartment on the west side in the energy corridor, and it was a 2-bedroom, like 1,400 square feet. And we got spoiled. You know, we had the air on all the time, you know, everything was cool, but it was just a little bit too far. And the bill was about $115 a month for energy on average, right? We moved to the Midtown, got a much smaller apartment. Apartment was like 700 square feet, 1 bedroom in Midtown, but it was an older apartment, so it was less energy efficient. We basically did the same things that we were doing when we first moved here to the energy corridor, but the house was way less efficient, and we were paying almost $200, sometimes even $250 a month for just energy because it wasn't as efficient. Fast forward to this house, which is, you know, almost 2,000 square feet, and we pay right around $150 a month, and I have my air on or my heat on or something on all the time pretty much here, just because I either run very hot or I run very cold. But it's just so energy efficient because things are just built better, and the newer you get, the better it'll be. You'll have better windows, you'll have better insulation, so you're gonna have better times where things are just gonna cost you less to maintain temperature in your house. And that's just one of the probably the least talked about benefits to buying new construction, but it's actually one of the ones that you'll see the most immediate benefits. You know, when you go to some of these communities in the suburbs or even some in the city, when they're advertising like the SEER rating for their AC unit, or they'll have certain ratings for their glass, and they'll have some communities that'll even promise you, hey, if you spend over $100 a month in utilities, we'll pay for it, kind of thing, just because they know the efficiencies at which they're going to get for the materials that they get. So utility costs should be much lower if you go new construction versus going something that's a resale, and that's just because as time has gone on, things have been built more efficiently, materials have gotten better over time. It's just a much better situation for you cost wise if you are in new construction versus resale. The fifth benefit to buying new construction is the fact that you have the ability to customize. So at certain price points, I'm not gonna lie, the price point has kind of shot up a little bit around the greater city of Houston. So there's a little less wiggle room on customization because the price has just shot up. But if you have a certain budget, you can basically go in ground up and pick out your floors. You can pick out countertops, you can pick out paint, you can pick out door trim, you can pick out exterior brick. You can pick out so much in new construction that you can't really do in a resale home, right? So if you go in a resale home and you don't like the exterior but you love the interior, you're about to settle to some extent, right? But if you go new construction and you catch it at a certain phase, or you find the right builder that allows you to customize from the ground up, you have the ability to literally pick every square inch of that home and do exactly what you want to. And the only thing that is limiting you is the funds that you have to pick the customization. Now, I'm not gonna say it's gonna come cheap to customize, but that is definitely one of the perks that you can get from brand new construction, is that you have the ability to pick everything from start to finish, depending on the builder, depending on the budget. But it's definitely one of the pluses of not feeling like you're settling on either the interior or the exterior if you get the ability to pick and choose and do everything from the ground up. It's definitely one of my favorite perks about new construction. The next thing, and this has changed a little bit over the course of probably like the last 2 years here in the greater city of Houston, just with how hot the market is, but there are still builders that are doing great things with buyer incentives. One of my favorite builders right now is D.R. Horton, and they last week were just doing like almost $20,000 in incentive costs, which could be either closing costs or like down payment assistance, or it was like upgrades to the house, and they were giving you that and appliances and blinds. It was like almost $20,000 to $25,000 of incentives that they were giving you, and they aren't the only builder that does that, right? So one of the hugest benefits to using a new construction or getting new construction is that oftentimes sometimes it's tied to the lender of the builder of choice, and in this case it is, which may or may not be the best situation for you. You'd have to run your numbers, but if you're close on cash or don't want to use all the cash that you have in reserves, this is definitely a way to get some of the money to stay inside your pocket, because you can use the buyer incentives that the actual builder is going to give you for using their lender. And you know, with closing cost or cost to actually transfer fees into your name being anywhere as high as 3 to 4%, sometimes in the greater city of Houston and surrounding suburbs, if somebody's going to give you a free $10,000 to $20,000 just to use their lender, to me it might be worth it, because that's an immediate money that you're never going to see again. You're not going to get that back. That's just closing costs to secure the loan. That's not going towards your down payment. That's not going towards the amount that you're going to owe the banks over the next 30 years. That's just sunk cost. So if somebody's willing to give that to you, in my opinion, it's almost always a go to use that builder's lender, and to get the buyer incentives at the max amount that they'll give it to you. The next thing, and point number 7, which you can't really put a price on, but one of the greatest things that new construction communities, especially in the suburbs, and it almost pulls me from being in the city. I'm a city boy, but it almost pulls me to the suburbs every time, and it's the amenities. It's the pools, It's the walking trails. It's the parks. It's the fields. It's everything. It's all the amenities that come with being in a brand new construction. Like, as we've been here, going over 6 or 7 years now, and the more and more they develop these new construction communities, the better it seems like the infrastructure is getting, right? So in the suburbs, you'll have like maybe a little grocery store. You might have your convenience store at the front of the neighborhood. You'll have a park. You'll have a pond. You'll have a gym. Some of these communities have their own gyms, so now you can cancel your membership. They have their own lakes that you can put boats in, or do little pontoons, or little rafts, or whatever, kayaking. They have their own bike trails. They might have their own wooded areas. It's just so many amenities that are just gorgeous that it's hard to believe that for the price you're paying, that you get to feel this seclusion and this level of, man, I never have to leave this place, right? It's just something that you can't really put a price on that. And that's not even getting started about talking about like the schools that many of these are tied to in these master plan communities, where you might have a A or B rated elementary, middle school, and high school, where now you don't have to worry about the cost of school or private school or anything like that, right? So there are just so many amenities that come with living in new communities. Now on the inside of the loop, where I am in the city, boy, I'm just north of the loop, so I don't even want to act like I'm in the loop. But in the city, if you get new construction, your amenity is the city, right? So you're paying for the location, and to get the looks and the closeness to the Heights and the Galleria and Uptown, that's the amenity that you're paying for, and to still be, from Museum District, the Med Center, everything that you would necessarily need to get to, that's your main amenity. But once you get to the suburbs, some of these communities we talking Texas City, Lago Mar, we're talking Balmoral, we're talking out in Siena Vista. They're about to have their own blue lagoons, where it looks like you're in just some of the most beautiful white sand beaches in the world, and they're in your neighborhood and your community. It's so many communities are just gorgeous. We're talking about Bridgeland, or we're talking about Town Lakes out there in Cypress, where some of the lakes and just walking trails and views that you can just get just from living in your community are just, bar none, just some of the prettiest things that you'll ever see, some of the best schools that you'll ever have. You literally, if you get out in some of those areas or some of these communities that are brand new construction, you won't have to worry about anything. Schools, medical, shopping, infrastructure, everything you need is in there, and you sometimes just don't get that when you're buying a resale home in a part of town that's either a little bit older. Things have moved away from that area. Things have redeveloped far away from that area. So depending on if you're buying something that's new or something that's old and established, you may not have that infrastructure near you and no plans of things coming to you. Where 9 times out of 10 with these new developments, they've already thought about the grocery store, the shopping, the schools, and all the things that are going to come around you. So infrastructure and amenities, one of the hugest reasons why I would suggest buying new construction. And then the last thing, and this is probably the most important thing to this time period right now, like I said, the competition is crazy, and it's just way less competition when you go new construction. Right now, I have 5 or 6 clients right now looking, and they're looking at resale homes just because for whatever reason, life, they aren't at that price point where they can get what they want for their budget, or even if they can't afford it, they don't want to pay what they have to pay when you include taxes and all those things, right? So we're looking at resales to get them something that's a little bit less expensive. But within that, you're just putting offer after offer after offer after offer in, and you're just getting beat out. You're getting people that are paying $10, $20, $30, $40,000 over. You're getting people that are waiving inspection periods. You're getting people that are just basically saying, I'll buy this as is, I don't care what it is. And if you are a logical, reasonable, and sound person right now, that makes you uncomfortable. You're not going to go in and say, I'm going to pay $30,000 over without even looking at this house. And there are people that are willing to do that. So if you can actually afford new construction and you can go that route, it's definitely the way to go, because it's definitely just way less competition. Like, your only competition in new construction is what you can afford and the look that you want to have for your home. So Probably the biggest con right now is just, like I said, over the last probably like 6 to 8 months, the prices of new construction in many of the most affordable subdivisions out in like Sharon, Iowa Colony, Manville, especially some of the ones down south that some of my clients typically flock to, have gotten like $60,000 or $70,000 more expensive over the last like 6 to 8 months. So last year, $300,000 could have got you like one of the bigger plans, where right now $300,000 is getting you one of the entry level plans. So that is the change. I can say that most of the designers have gotten much better with how they use the square footage. Even though on paper it may say it's only 13 or 1400 square feet, the layout and how they design and make things just feel bigger, it appears and feels much bigger than the number would suggest. But if you have in your mind that you're going to get this big brand new thing that you maybe would have wanted to get a couple years ago, you're going to have to raise that budget just a little bit. But new construction, I love it. Those are my top 8 things that I love. What do you think? Did I get this one right? Are you leaning more towards new construction? Everything is not perfect with new construction. It's a man-made thing. It's probably one of the last man-made things in the world. So with that, there's going to be errors and things that happen. But if you take into accountability, or if you take into account that you can customize it, you can get what you want, you can pick the finishes, you're the first, you have the amenities around you, and it's less competition. It's just so many benefits to going new construction versus going resale right now. If you can get over some of the issues like they're raising in cost, and you can get over some of the issues like tax and maybe location, things of that nature, if you can get over some of the cons, there are just way more pros that go into getting new construction, in my opinion, versus getting a resale. So that's the video for today. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm doing these kind of videos every week. My number is going to be on the screen. If you have any questions at all, hit me up morning, noon, or night. Shoot me with a carrier pigeon, DM, email, whatever you got to do to get in touch with me. I'm doing these kind of videos every week. It's Aaron Lathan. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a great day.